Hey everybody. Happy Friday. It's Grace and I've got to finish this up, girls. It is actually starting to really bug me that I don't have this book done yet. I'll do a little flip through. You'll take a peek at that in a minute. I first wanted to say hello and welcome you to the YouTube channel for the Comfy Nest with Grace. My name is Grace. I live up here in North Dakota and I love to create and share with you guys anything, just kind of my creative journey. Love to share that with you guys. Happy that you're here. Had to fix that. We had a little reverberation of volume there. Okay, I think we're all set. When you come on, please say hello. Let me know that you're here. I want to show you the book. Of course, this is the book. The book itself is done. You know, the book itself is done, and I absolutely love it. To be truthful, I really love it. It's a winter theme. So there is, we have the papers or printed papers from a kit that I purchased or got. This is a magazine page. Here is a vintage Santa from a book. Here is a Christmas envelope that I used to create that flip out, and there's something in there. So anyway, I love the book. Here's a little, do you remember this book? It was so long ago that I started this, ladies, and I just haven't been so stumped on the cover. So it's the cover that I want to work on. Just doing a quick flip through. Just when I haven't worked on it in a while, and when I pick it up, I do want to do a flip through to kind of get the vibe of the book. I do the cover last. Look at how beautiful that turned out. I do the cover last because I want it to reflect the vibe of what's inside. So it's a good idea since I haven't been through this book in a long time. I really wanted to salvage the original cover. The book is from the signature inside from Grandma and Grandpa is from 1946. So I really wanted to salvage all that, but the book cover is water damaged. I think I need to cover it up. I was hoping to leave some of it exposed, but I think I better cover it up. Hey, Michelle, how are you? How are you in Maine? What's it doing there in Maine? It's rainy and a little chilly here today. Okay, this fabric here is the fabric that I used to cover the middle of this book where the sewing is, the binding. So it would be great to repeat that same fabric on the front somehow, but I don't have enough of it to cover the whole book. Okay. The other challenge I have, and I actually considered cutting out my pages. The other challenge that I have is that I want to salvage this writing to Joyce and Arvin from Grandpa and Grandma in 1946. I want that to stay there. So I'm not going to cover this with anything. Because I considered cutting there's just one signature sewn in, and I considered cutting the strings and pulling it out and then wrapping fabric around, but that would cover some of this, and I don't want that. So I'm trying to work within that parameter of keeping this original inscription on the inside. So I'm going to try to come up with a fabric way of covering this without wrapping, I guess is what we're going to do. Hi, Ginny. How are you? How are you? What are you guys up to today? What's happening in your world? All right, I have a bunch of fabrics here, like they're just little fabric scraps. So I'm going to go through what I have sitting here. This was sitting with the cover, so I must have chosen these at some point. I have a whole lot of strips of fabric like this that I got at a thrift store, and they're vintage fabrics. I can just tell. This is a piece of this that I was going to make a pocket out of, but I changed my mind. So that's just scrap, I guess, now. I'm just trying to see. This, I have the most of this, but I'm not thrilled with the color. To be honest with you, I'm not thrilled with the color. If I did this I have plenty of it, you can see. If I did this as a base, it could be just that, just a base, just a background, rather than painting it, covering it with fabric, and then we can add more fabric and papers to decorate the outside of it. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. So the first order of business is cutting this to size, and I don't want cut lines. I would rather have these really soft tear lines, like torn the torn look. So I'm going to try to accomplish that. We're going to tear, and then I might have to iron this. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to tear. I'm going to go, if I go too close, I just need a sliver, but you can't really tear a sliver. It doesn't work that well. So I'm going to actually tear. I have plenty of it. So I'll tear like a 1-inch strip, and then that can be used for something else at some point. And then let's see. See, I love that raggedy torn edge look. Now I need it to be, we got to tear on. I'm just going to keep tearing it down until I get the right size that I need. And I want it to, I'm not going to wrap it around. So I'm going to glue it down so that you can still see, you don't need to see me. We want to see the project there so that we can still see the edges of the book. So let's see if we can accomplish this. So if it was kind of like that, I think I would want to tear it like around right there. Anybody do this with your fabric sometimes? Okay, so see what I'm doing? It's going to give me just enough to cover all of the damaged part of the book, but still retain. Now when I wrap it this way, I have one more tear to do, which will be right here. Every time I tear, I get a few more little strings, and that's kind of cool because it makes it a little more ratty. Okay, this happens to, I'm going to move all this over so I have some space. Happens to be very wrinkled. Happens to be very wrinkled, but this is going to wrap around and cover. Now, if I'm going to get this super wet with like gel medium, I probably don't even have to iron it because I think the gel medium is just going to straighten it all out for me. But you know what? Just to be real certain, so I'm not fighting with it, I'm going to grab my mini iron. And let's do a little ironing of this so it's not so crinkled. Just in case. Okay, we've had a busy, busy day at my house this morning. Jenny says, I was in New York City last 2 days with my sister. Lots of sister fun. What kind of things did you do? My sister took a trip like that with her girlfriend recently. A few months ago, they went to New York City, went to a show. They did shopping. I don't remember what else they did on their trip. Michelle, girl, as long as the sun is shining, I can take the chilly temps. It's when it gets gray that it really starts to bug me. It's when it gets gray, it bugs me. So, busy day at my house. Gannon is homesick. Good gravy, girls. He's homesick. He thinks that he has pink eye. So I'm going to take him to the clinic when I'm done here with you guys. We're going to go to the clinic and just, you know, since he has Crohn's and he is on with his immune system, it weakens his immune system. I feel like it's important when he comes up with something in his system to just go have it checked. So that we can rule anything out that needs to be treated. I don't want to have the weekend go by and him be suffering all weekend because, you know, the clinic's not opened. I'd have to take him to the ER at the hospital, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to get him into the clinic and have him seen by a practitioner just to rule out pink eye or tell us what to do if it is pink eye. So we have that. And I just saw my other son off. He's going on a trip for this DECA International Conference in California. So I had to help him finish packing. He needed a button sewn on his jacket. It was so sweet. Last night, it was late last night, and he's like, Mom, do you know how to sew a button? I said, well, yes, I do. He said, because a button fell off, they have a jacket that is issued to them, like a formal, you know, like a men's suit jacket that they wear to their competitions and when they represent their high school at DECA. So his jacket button fell off. It's like a little gold button on the front. So I spent a little time last night sewing to help him get ready. Had to do a bank transfer, make sure the kid had enough cash so he can buy some food because I'm sure he'll have to buy food while he's gone. So it was a whole bunch of stuff this morning. He you know, we're not wearing shorts weather clothes, right? He doesn't have that many shorts that fit him that are decent. So he wore a pair this morning he's preparing for a marathon. So he went out for a run this morning. And when he came home, he's like, I need these shorts for the trip. They got to get washed real quick because he was all sweaty. So I had to throw a load of wash in. Oh my goodness. It was a busy morning. Busy morning at our house. So I'm happy to have a little creative time with the gals. You saw Neil Diamond show. Ginny said, oh my gosh, like for reals? Walked the High Line, shopped, ate, and lots of laughs. That's perfect. That sounds like a great little break. Good for you. Good for you. I'm so glad. Yeah, Lena's going to California. I have never been to California, so I don't know. He said he thinks it's about 75 there. They are going to take a trip. They have this conference, but they are going to try to hit the beach for a few hours one day, go to the beach, and they are going to try to go to Universal. All right, this is pretty good. It's not completely done. I want to work on this little corner here. Just trying to get those big wrinkles out. Well, so do you need a little recovery time, Ginny? Like, you know, sometimes when I take a trip like that, I do have so much fun, but the eating different, not sleeping in your own bed, and staying up later or getting up earlier than you usually do can really kick my system in the butt. Personally, that's just, you know, Gavin and I with our autoimmune kind of weak systems. We're kind of weaklings. So, oh, I'm going to shut this bad boy off. We're done with you, my dear. Thank you for your service. Okay, I think I am going to use, now you have a couple of options actually. Liquid matte gel will hold it down really nicely. It takes a long while to dry. So that's one option. The other option is to use your silicone glues. And I think I have a big bottle of that I could show you. What is in here is Fabri-Tac permanent fabric adhesive. Bonds fabric, lace, glass, leather, wood trims. Premium glue, grabs fast, dries clear, acid-free, and washable. We're not going to be washing this, but it's a fabric glue. Okay, that's what's in here. There's also this. I'm not a fan of this. I prefer Fabri-Tac. I bought this because I see other creatives use it. It's less expensive than Fabri-Tac. I feel like it has a stronger odor, which I don't love. I could totally get over that if it didn't leave marks. My experience with this is when I spread it out, and if the fabric is thin, the wet glue shows through the fabric and it does not leave. Once it's dry, you can still see the wet glue, and I don't like that on my books. So I have better luck with the Fabri-Tac for that. This never shows. This always dries clear. So, and it's actually really easy to apply because you brush it on. So I think that's what I'm going to use today. Let's just do it. Let's not hem and haw over it. I'm going to put the wetness on the book. Here's our front. So I'm going to start on the front. Oh, I hate to cover them up, but there they go. Ginny's catching up on her crafts. Good job, girly. Good job. All right, we're going to load her up. My husband had a doctor's appointment today in Grand Forks, which is 90 miles away. So I would have liked to have gone with him because it's like diabetes nutrition meeting today, learning how to use. They've issued him new insulin plan. And it's instead of a slow acting, take it once a day, it's a fast acting, take it when you eat. And so he went to learn how to administer it, like based on what you eat, you administer this much or that much. So he went to learn that. I feel like this isn't quite thick enough. And I would have liked to have heard the message with him from the nutritionist, but it's too busy at our house. There's no way I could leave. Plus, you know, I have not been feeling great. So there's that. 90-mile drive is not good when you have pelvic pain. Okay, here we go. Just going to push it in here. We don't have to be super fancy. It would help if you had something like this. It will help you. Sometimes I really like using my fingers, but if you like to use a tool better, just anything flat like that. I don't want to stretch the fabric, and I don't want to have any pull, like wrinkles in it if possible. Okay, so I've got it done up to there, and then I'm going to keep going. Now, before I do this, this doesn't set immediately, so I can pick this up and move it if I have to. But what I want to check before I do any more gluing is when I pull, see here, I might have this, so I may want to pull this and make sure that I'm going to have enough coverage here. So I want to pull kind of tight when I'm laying down this fabric. I want to pull a little tighter on, I pulled that side up, so I'm going to re-glue it. I'm going to pull down just a little bit. There's too much glue under there. I wish it would stop moving on the table. It keeps sliding around on me. Okay, push this back and apply more glue. This is going to wrap around the edge, right around that binding, right around my strings that have tied in my signature. So the signature strings will be hidden. That wasn't my plan originally. It's just the way it's working out. Now we have that little groove right here where the fold of that cover ends up being. So I want to make sure I really push the glue down. You can see that groove right here. I want to keep that, maintain that. So I just like to do a little at a time. I feel like it's more controlled and I don't have to rush when I'm pushing down on the fabric. I don't have to be fast about it because I've only done a little bit of glue at a time, so it's not going to dry too quickly on me. Plus this matte medium doesn't dry as fast as some other glues, so you have a little work time. Now we're going to see those strings. So I'm going to end up covering, you can see the bump where the strings are sitting, that line right there. Those are my strings that are holding that signature in place, but those will all get hidden. I'm going to end up covering this with more fabric. This is just, like I said, the background layer or the first layer. I'm just happy I'm going to be finally done with this book. I have been hemming and hawing, just dragging my feet on what to do. I really wanted to salvage the cover of this book, but I think it's just too damaged. I don't think I'll be happy with it if I leave it exposed because of the damage. But I do like that I'm going to have the red part of the cover kind of exposed. All right, we've got a groove on this side too. We want to acknowledge this little groove right here. I think I do better with my fingers. And then I'm going to pull tightly because I want this to extend close to that edge. It's a little shorter on the right than it is on the left. So I'm going to pull, stretch the fabric a little on this side. And here I don't have to do that. Okay, just a little bit left. I think I just got a text from Landon's girlfriend, Maddie. She's also going on this trip. There are 10 kids from the high school and 2 chaperones. The teacher and his wife is going with them. She's also a teacher, but they're all heading on this DECA trip because it's a school activity. I think I just got a text from Maddie. I told Landon to make sure to update me. Like, where are you in the world? Boys don't think of it. Like, I want to know when you've checked in, when you're, landed at that airport, even though you're not completely in California. Can please just let me know that you landed, they have a connection. But boys don't think of it. So I said to Maddie the other day, his girlfriend, I said, Maddie, I think I'm going to be relying on you for intel on this trip. And she said, I might just set up a text group with you and my mom so that both of the moms get the information at the same time. That's a very smart idea. Okay. Not bad, right? We got it. A couple of little bumps here and there that I want to keep working on. We are going to end up covering right there. There's a little, and right here. Fabric is so forgiving. Okay, we are going to end up covering. I'm going to put more fabric over this, so because I want to cover that, and then that little bump will get covered, so I'm not worried about that too much. Uh-oh, what was the front? Where's the front? This is the front. So next, I got to figure out with these extra fabrics that I have some sort of coverage. We're going to wrap around with more fabric. I like the idea of using this piece because it's what's inside the book. So I'm going to grab my scraps that I have first. Let's use those up. Well, that's an extra piece of that background, so I don't want to use that. I want it to be a little bit different. This is a reject. I was going to make it a pocket and I've changed my mind. Look at this. I think I want that kind of sticking out more toward the front, and maybe I don't want it one big. Maybe I'll do like one going this way. I am a super visual, so what I'm going to do before I glue anything down is just kind of lay everything out. Like how much do I want to cover and what do I want to cover it with? Like I could just do stripes like this. That would be kind of cute. I have plenty of strips of fabric. Let me go grab some more. I got this, oh, I just dumped it. I got these vintage fabrics at a thrift store. This one has tiny little leaves on it, but it's like similar colors, right? So that would really work. Let's grab a strip of this. Is that? I think that's what I'm going to do. This could be really cute. And if I did them a variety of sizes, that could be really cute too. I probably wouldn't do like, you have a couple of options. You could repeat these same fabrics again so it looks super cohesive, or you could do, it would look like about 8 different fabrics. You know, do you want 8 different fabrics or do you want to do repeat patterns? I'm not sure that I like the blue. I think it's too dark. I don't mind the brown for some reason, but I don't think I like that blue on there. Let's see about this one. Oh, that's so pretty. I think I'm going to do the same for, again, here's that brown again. I have it here. So let's get another strip of this because we'll use it somewhere up here. I think I'll go a little long on that one. And maybe this one can go way up top. This one I have here, so I don't need another one. I need another strip of this one. That's this guy. And let's do maybe these, but this one and this one are thicker. The other ones all seem to be about 1 inch. So I'm going to go a little thicker on this one too. Maybe not quite 2 inches, but like 1.5 inches. Okay. I'm going to move you up, you down. I think. No, I liked it better the other way, Gracie. I have to do, I have to do this. I have to do this visual play. Otherwise, I'm not confident when I start putting things down. I want this to be more prominent, so I'm going to put this one down and then put this one over on top. No. Maybe like that. No, not like that either. I suppose we could cut all of these the same exact width so that they just make one complete strip, even on both sides, but I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to do it a little variable, like coming in and out. So on the front cover, that's what you would see. That would be kind of cool. These two are really too close to each other in width. I think I'm going to draw this one out a little bit more so it looks like a step. See? So that's what you would see. And then we can cover this with something. It would look really cute. Okay, I'm happy with that. We got to start gluing them down. You love it, Michelle? Oh, I thank you. Thank you. I got so concentrated on what I was doing. I wasn't looking at the comments. Do it different, like it was patched together. I like that idea. Oh, Crafty Peep. She's saying she bought some too. Is it this that you bought? I saw Chris Hunter using it. She loves it. I'm not a fan. I mean, I just, after using both of them, there's nothing wrong with this glue, you guys. I just prefer this one. They're the same company. They're both by Beacon. What's the real difference? I have no idea. I think, although I haven't done a side-by-side sniff test, it seems like the Beacon's a little stronger smell. You like the variable better, Leslie? Thanks for telling me. I think I like it too. I think I've never done anything like this before, so it'll be very unique. And I can still, once we get this glued down, we can do something decorative here still, and I will be doing something decorative here. I actually printed out or photocopied. Oh, did you see this one I showed the other day? I photocopied the front and back of the book. Oh, the back is just red, right? But I have that. That was what was on the cover that we just covered up. So I may use that. I may mount that on cardstock and use it somehow on the cover of the book. I don't know. We'll see. I just was feeling really bad about having to cover it up. So I decided to photocopy it before I covered it up. Just as an idea so I wouldn't lose it completely. Okay, these have to get glued down. You know, any of these glues would work. I already have some of this on here, so I'm gonna start with this. And actually, I don't have to put it on here. I could put it on the back of this, like a paste, and then put it down. Oops, dropped it on itself. Okay, here we go. It's pretty wet. Okay, I'm just guesstimating where I had it, and I'm going to softly push it down, checking for bumps and those indentations. Now, remember, the book is going to end up closing, and that's going to need to stretch, you know. So I'm going to, in the end, now I have my envelope popping out of here because I did that. Hold on, girls. Put the book back together. I'm going to glue them all down, and then I'm going to make sure to fold it a couple of times back and forth to make sure that this is in a good position for opening and closing on the book. Now, that is very wet because I just put glue on it. So I'm going to do this, fold it over, and then I'll use this little part of the page to wet this strip. And then this piece will get thrown out here in a minute. When I have two hands free, I will throw that out and then use a new sheet. Okay. I have to keep these kind of together because I need to see what positioning I went with. Okay. I'm going to move this one up one, kind of leave it where it was, but move it up one. And then I think this better go a little bit further this way. I wanted this one underneath the brown, and I have enough work time. Throw it out. I'm going to work on this side. Add my glue. It's still workable. This is the nice thing about the gel medium, the acrylic gel, because it doesn't stick so fast that you don't have time to work your pieces. Now I can put that, I want that brown edge over the tan one because the brown one's prettier in my opinion. The tan one is just a color fill, space filler. Okay, that one's gonna go just about there. I want this one underneath it, but I'm gonna start with this guy or gal. Really saturating that so it'll stick nicely. Moving it over, I'm gonna put it in place. I'm just gonna push on the bottom a little bit, real gently, and then I have to get this one. Oops, my fingers are sticky now. I love paper and fabric stash busters, and that's what this is. We're using up our stash. That string doesn't need to be stuck back there. Okay, I need you to pull back a little bit so I can get you under here. Where was this now? I'm gonna go a little bit forward. Okay, now, I think I'll go like that and like that. This one's pretty wide. I'm going to end up covering a little bit of it, but that's okay. Okay, sticky glue page. Can come off and go in the garbage. I don't remember where I had it, girls. I'm going to actually go this way a little bit. Like I said, this glue, it doesn't like stick so solidly immediately, so you have a little bit of time to rework the positioning. So I don't get too worked up over once I put it down. Some of the glues, it's like once it's down, you're not moving it again. So make sure you're ready. This one isn't quite that way. It has a little work time. Yes, like that, or maybe just a little further out than the others. My fingers are really sticky with glue, so like the fabric is sticking to my fingers as I'm trying to set that. I just opened a thing of baby wipes. Where did I put them, girls? Oh, they're right behind me. Get the glue off my fingers so I can push these panels down. My bird feeder has been so active this morning, and you guys, I finally got another variety of bird. Finally. And my husband was like, really? It's a woodpecker. He's like, it's going to be peck. We have a log cabin siding house. He's like, it's going to be pecking our house. He was not happy with me that a woodpecker came. And I'm like, well, the woodpecker has to eat too. He wasn't too happy. My poor hubby. Okay. Remember I said we want to make sure that this is going to stretch nicely this way and that everything's laying nice and flat. Oh my gosh, I think that's really cute. I really like that. It's funny, I did not intend it, but the brightest stripe right in the middle, that was not an intention. That just is the way it landed. So I do need to let this dry. I'm going to open this back up, and then this seems to have come undone. So I'm going to put a little more under, and then I am going to go, oops, I don't want to stretch them. I want to go over it. Let's see if I... Once it is dry, it will stay in position where you put it. But there is this factor, like, see when I open it up, how it kind of buckles, and then when I close it, it's nice and solid. There is this factor that you have to consider. So I like to make sure that it's lightly, I usually leave it open and lightly press to make sure it's going to stay in place. There's a big pucker right here. When I close it though, it stays in place. So I'm going to let it dry in this position because I want it to dry stuck to the book, stuck to the other fabric. Okay. So I'm going to dry it in this position. And then while this is drying, I can try to figure out what else am I going to do. I'm going to wet this whole edge and make sure it really sticks down. This is going to get the most action with the opening and closing of the book. So let's really make sure this is stuck down nicely. My son's making bacon. I can smell it. The one who's homesick. The sickness, he has a stomach ache, Crohn's disease. So that is, there are many, many days of stomach aches, even going to school with stomach ache. But today he has the stomach ache, plus we think he has pink eye. So I got to get him to the clinic, like I said. Okay, we're going to let that dry for a few minutes. There are, Judy, that first bird, oh my gosh, I have some really beautiful, they've been like very vocal in the camera, and the camera records the sound too. So I have some, a couple of little 10, and it records in 10-second snippets. So none of them are really long, which is great. But it was 3 of them. There are 3 of those little chickadees. I thought it was 2, but then today I captured a video with 3 of them, and they sequentially, really fast within that 10 seconds, one came down to the feeder, the other came down to the feeder, the third one. They all came on and flew back off in a matter of seconds. So I will be sharing that with you guys because I was like, whoa, there's 3 of them. I thought it was just 2, but there are 3 of them. And then I've seen just that one single woodpecker. The stuff, the little strings have stiffened up from the glue. So because they're not like loosely hanging, I'm going to cut them off. I don't want them stiffened up and looped around the top there. Let's check on this one here. And I got glue on my table. This one here, I'm going to cut off too because it's kind of stiff. Okay. Okay, I'm happy. I may end up putting another coat over all of this, but let's just see what we end up doing for the cover. So for the cover, I have to figure out now, am I going to use that photocopy that I made and how? Well, I'm going to actually put this aside to dry while we look at this. If I use this, I wouldn't use the whole thing. I would just use the square that says Songs for Children. Oh, it was my son before that little birdie. Like Gannon going out there and testing out the camera. We had to see how it worked. All right. If I cut this out, just the square, it would be really fun to be able to use this somehow. Now we're down to something that could actually go on the cover easily, right? I wouldn't mind actually having a book page behind that. I'm just going to test something out. It would have to be wider than, see how the words, the way that they're justified on the page, it's the same exact width as this. So this book isn't going to work. I'm going to look for a book that may have wider. Oh, they're about the same. Unless I cut this, I didn't cut it down exactly on the square. You can see there's still. Maybe not. Maybe just a cluster. Maybe I'll end up doing a cluster. I got to get this mounted on something more heavy though, because that is not going to work. That being on there is not going to work. I'm going to grab some cardstock or watercolor paper probably. I'm going over to my cupboard. My watercolor paper is something I use several times a week. I'm going to mount this on here so that it has something solid that I can cut out and use. I was just thinking, we've had a lot of clinic visits lately between Chris, me, and now Gannon was sick. He was sick, missed a week of school, and now he's got this pink eye thing. It's like never ends, ladies. It never ends. And the bills just keep coming. The clinic bills, they just keep coming. They just never end, like I said. Okay. I got a little glue on the outside, so I'm just rubbing it down. There. Okay. At least now it's on something solid. I think I will end up cutting this. How do I want to do it? Do I want to tear the edges or do I want to cut them? I should have thought this through before I went ahead and did this. I think at this point I'm not going to be able to tear closely enough to this, so I think I better just get some cut edges. Well, this will be interesting because I didn't quite put it on there with that in mind. I'm going to cut right into that red. Of course, small table problems. These things are kind of in my way. Did I get it all? Yeah, I did. Okay, now we have a card that will be more workable than just a flimsy piece of paper. And I think I'm going to create a cluster. Maybe it will have book page, but I think I'm going to cluster fabrics, lace, and this to create a cover. So it doesn't have to be on the actual cover. And this, I kind of want the torn edge look. I know it's not going to be bigger than that. So I'm just quickly tearing so I can get an idea. Yep. We're going to create kind of a frame and a collection of things. Things meaning fabrics. I have this piece that was my reject. Maybe I can salvage this for a little something something here. This is the same that's on the inside of the book and on the cover, so if I can work that in there, that would be cute. I like to repeat, you know, if I have things that I can repeat, I do like to repeat them. So it looks super cohesive. So there's a little chunk of that brown. I want it to look wonky. I don't want it to look super perfect. I want it to look super organic. Okay, what else? Let me grab some. I do have some lace sitting here. This one has a little bit of blue in it. I don't know if you can see that. See in the flowers, there's just a little bit of like a satin blue, which I think is very interesting. And it has such a pretty edge to it. It kind of makes me think of a curtain, like the edge of a curtain. You did? You bought one for your daughter's birthday? Oh my gosh, they're exciting. Good for you. She'll love it. The Liquitex is called Liquitex Matte Medium. There. Got it real close for you so you can take a screenshot. This is the gel. I also do get it and use it all the time in the liquid form. Let me grab that bottle so you can see. Oh, I don't know. Oh, here. This is the matte, Liquitex Matte Medium Fluid. This is the fluid. This is the gel. They're basically the same thing. This one's just thicker. Okay. These are both matte. I just bought this because you can also get it in gloss. So I just bought the liquid in a gloss. This bottle is too big. I use this stuff a lot. So I got a big bottle. I go through it. It does not go bad. So I got a huge bottle. I actually have a gallon of this because I use it that much. It's just cheaper to buy by the gallon per ounce than it is to buy small bottles. And I know, unlike this, that dries up on you and then you're just fighting for it to get it out of the bottle. This stuff doesn't dry up. So I'm not afraid of buying a big bottle because I use it that often. I transferred it into one of these small squeeze bottles that I got at the Dollar Tree. Liquitex Fluid Matte, because I can handle this little bottle when I'm working, the gloss, but this one's just so big for my hands that I decided to transfer it into a smaller bottle. It saves room on my desk and it saves my hand. Can't really hold anything that big. Okay, I love this little bit of fabric, but I may end up, when I apply this down, I think I'm going to scrunch it so that it looks a little ruffled under there. Do you see? I'm not going to put it just flat. I'm going to ruffle it because I think that'd be cute. And then I wouldn't mind having something down in here, maybe just more book page. I don't have to overcomplicate this. It can be another piece of book page. It also would be nice if I could find a piece of paper, like in the fake ephemera that I have, if I could find something decorative in this. I have lots of these little packs of fake ephemera, you know, stuff like this. But let's just see if there's something in here that strikes me. Oh, there's a doily or two. Coffee stained doily. Oh, that's pretty. That is really pretty. I might actually put this below the paper and the fabrics. I like that a lot. That'll be scrunched up. And I think I'm going to distress the paper so it's not so bright white against what we got going on here. All right, let me just keep looking and see if there's anything else in this. It'd be easier if I took it out, right? We can go through here quickly. I'm not going to add an image. I'm just looking for something that could be good background, like the doily was. Something very indiscriminate, something very like that would work. You know, I think it's too big, but I think it would work because there's nothing, it's not no focal point there. It's just more background. She's cute, but not what I'm looking for. Oh, that's a little duck. Maybe I will use that and tear it so I don't have the big square. It's just about adding things that are visually interesting. This actually really matches this book cover color. Get that little mushroom sticking out? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sold on that, but we're going to keep it out just in case. Is anybody creating this weekend? Anybody else creating this weekend besides Jenny? And what are you working on? What are you working on? I want to tell you, weekend vibes. Speaking of weekend vibes, those of you who are not in the Craft Therapy Club, we just completed Betty on Friday last night. This was my original that I shared with the group that we were going to be painting together live, and we did it last night. So this was last night's version of her. So this one is on a book page. This one is on a canvas that is decoupage with book paper. So we did this last night, and I just made this workshop available. So what I did was I took the template, I took the supply list, I made both of those available along with the video recording from last night's live. I spent a couple of hours editing it down this morning, and that workshop is now available for purchase if you just want to purchase that one workshop. If you're not in the club, you know, Craft Therapy Club members get it. They get that workshop live. Now it's a video recording that lives inside the club. But if you're not in the club and you want to purchase and just do that workshop this weekend, you sure can. I'm going to grab you the link to it and put it in the comments so that you guys can. I'll also share it in the description of this video when I'm done. It is the first workshop in the listing of workshops. Here is the link. So if you guys want to purchase an individual workshop, you can. Just remember, Craft Therapy Club members, you do not need to purchase. You already have it. You do not need to purchase it. I just want to make it available to those who are not club members. Okay, here we go. Here's our book cover. It is still, like right here, I can see it's still a little damp. The glue is still working out. It's, you know, drying. This, now I'm looking at this might be too big of a conglomerate of things. It's still a little damp. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to make some room here. Hold on. Let's get this out of here because I don't think I'll need any more of this. I'm going to put these scraps in there. I'm going to put this aside on a different table. Over to the side. And I'm going to get out a piece of maybe wax paper or a craft mat, something that, because this is still wet, that it won't stick to. The challenge is finding a clean craft mat. Now this won't stick to it. So I'm going to lay that down, this edge especially, because I really gooped it down with glue. It's still a little wet. So I'm going to put it down on the craft mat, but just in a way so that I can start seeing if this is really what I want to do on top of this. I want to start building, recreating this or building this again on top of here and just see, maybe it might be too thick. It may be too much stuff. I'm going to lose this. Sadly, if I do this, I'm going to lose it. Girls, I don't know. I may do this without that book paper and just make the frame a little tighter in. I could also cut this down. I still have about 1/3 of an inch there that I could cut this down like right up to that black line. Come on. This is not, it's not sitting here evenly at all, so it's kind of hard to do. No, I really have to lay it down flat on my table. I want to see as much of that fabric underneath. I really don't want to lose it. I just think it's so beautiful the way it turned out. Those fabric strips. So even though I want this, I don't necessarily want to cover up all of my fabric. So that's a little smaller. I don't know, ladies. Man, I just love that so much. Maybe I just don't want to cover that. Like, see what happens? I lose all of that pretty. Maybe I end up doing something different here. Can this, for the sake of salvaging, can I use it somehow in the book? I'm trying so hard. Maybe that's what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll use it as a pocket back here and then do something much softer on the front. Like this, I have so much of this. I could really make a really pretty edge to the front of this book with this lace, because I have plenty of it. And that may, after all that with the clustering, that may be just enough because I really love this. What do you guys think? What if I came back to this? I could even ruffle it if I wanted to. Give it a pretty little edge all the way down. It matches what's in here because this part that I love the most is that same lace ruffled in behind fabric and paper. Oh, I also have it here. So I've used it several times. Why with this book, this particular book, am I so undecided? I do think that this matches really well. I think I'm going to lose these because I have plenty of fabric. I don't think I'm going to use those. I think that matches really well. Could I do just a portion, something decorative in the corner here? Just a portion of this doily with this mushroom in the corner. You know, if I did this, then whenever this book gets used, whether I keep it for myself and start writing in it and using it, or if I sell it, somebody could always add like a book plate there. Let's just see, I have book plates here. Let me grab one and see. Whoa. Crash, boom, bang. Where are my book plates? Well, I have this. That's not what I would had in mind, but you hear me rummaging, girls? Rummaging through. Oh, here they are. I found them. Hold on. I'm going to grab a big old book plate. I have this one. I have these. I also have these. Life is meant for adventure. Make this journey your own. Live a story worth telling. Maybe. Whoops, something decorative. You girls. Gracie's undecided. Maybe that's what I'm going to do. A book plate with a slide in there. It fits perfectly. Wasn't intended. That might be it. Super simplistic. Nothing real major going on here. Wow, after all that, I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. And let's glue in. I'm going to get this put back away. I do like to keep original packaging. That way, if anybody ever asks me, where did you get that or what is that, I can tell you where it came from or who it's from. I am going to I don't have any of the coppery, brassy colored ones left. I only have, did I buy more of these? I thought I did. I'm looking in my little, I guess not. I need to buy more of these. And this is the color I use most commonly, so I'm all out. It was a variety pack. Okay, let's get, for sure, we're not going to lose this. This is going to become a little pocket right here. So let's get this down. You like the lace? Anybody else watching me struggle here? How many of you are here watching me struggle? Any other ideas for me? That's pretty. I'll just stick this in here because it adds a pretty element to it. Doing 2 corners. That's it. 2 corners with glue. I've got a little bit of oozing glue here, so all I have to do is come in with a dry paper towel. Whoops. Better let that dry before we stick anything, but this will go in here, and then actually this little mushroom that matches real well can go in there too. I'm just not going to put them in there yet until that's completely dry. See how it's still wiggly? I need to let that dry. Meantime, on the front, then what I can put in there, I think I'm going to put, Where's my cardstock? This back there, and then I'm going to distress it. I need to know where to cut it though. Lost my pencil. I lost my pencil. It's got to get cut right there. And right, well, right about there. It should fit back here. I could stamp something on it, or I think I will just use it blank because I don't know how this book is going to end up getting used. So on here, I'll just distress that with a little bit of coffee stain. The whole thing. And I want the side that's not smooth. I want the non-smooth side. There. That looks much better, right? Sitting there. It's not so bright white. Okay, I got to get this glued down. The book cover is a little bit curved. So whatever I do here, I'm going to need to clip it down after the glue is on there because it wants to pop up and off. So I'm going to use silicone glue. Actually, this matte gel will work really well too, and it will not show up at all. It will dry completely clear. This stuff works great for gluing down metal pieces. I use it most often when I'm gluing down metal, the matte gel medium. I don't need this little corner to have so much glue in it. Right here. I'm just gonna pick that out of there. I need to be able to slide my paper in there easily. So I want to make sure this track right here is not gummed up with glue. Okay. Good enough. I'm going to have to do some magic with some clips here, girls. Oh, this one is not long enough. That's where these are really helpful because you get all this length. This one is just so short. It only goes that far in. There. We want to keep that pressure on there until that glue really sticks. I'm going to, while I have the chance, wipe away. It will dry clear, but still, if I have any oozing glue, I do like to give it a little wipe. Just help it along. Make sure nothing's showing that's not supposed to be. Like that. And then this will eventually go in there. Oh my goodness, so simple. After all that clustering, I ended up with a really simple front that can be embellished later. It's still drying somewhat. This will end up in the back pocket. This will end up in this front placard. It's like a little book. What do they call them? What did I call them a minute ago? I can't remember. Book plate. All right. What do we think? What do we think? Hey, Ruth. You like what I see? What you see? This is that book that I have taken. Oh my gosh! Not that I've taken my sweet time. I wouldn't even say it that way. I have been just undecided on how to cover this book. Just so undecided, and I finally decided when I was going to do something a little different than the Junkie Junk Journal today, just to change things up on a Friday on YouTube. I've been doing the Junkie Junk Journal for a long time, 14 sessions, so 14 weeks straight. So I thought I would change it up and do something different today. I think I'm actually, let me get myself on camera so I can show so I can talk to you. I think what I'm going to do is that Junkie Junk Journal now, I've been doing weekly entries into that book on Fridays at 11. I'll still do my entries and I will record them and share them, but I don't think it's going to be the Friday time. The Friday live premiere or live activity, I'm going to change it up. Today I changed it up to this. This is just a one-time session, but I think I want to try to pick a new project that may take a few weeks to do, so that on Fridays for a few weeks we have a series, and I'll create a playlist for that series for that project. So stay tuned. Fridays are going to change up a little bit just to keep things fresh and exciting here, and do something different. I do need to give this plenty of time to dry. I did like the idea of the little bit of lace, but I think I'm just going to leave it really, really simple on this one. So that's it. That's what I got for you. I hope you guys have a beautiful, blessed weekend. Say a little prayer. I'm going to get into the clinic today with this potential for pink eye. Say a little prayer that is easily solved. I hope it's not pink eye. I hope they say, oh no, don't worry about it. But if it's pink eye, don't they give you an antibiotic drop, which, isn't always good with a kid with an autoimmune, the antibiotics. So anyway, we'll just see how that works out. And a little prayer for Landon and crew who are traveling. They're in flight as I speak to get to their competition in California. So prayers for safe travels for them. For a safe weekend for all of us. Healthy, safe, fun weekend, creating things that you love. That's what I hope and wish for you, pray for you. All right, ladies, there's my heart to you. There's my heart. Thanks for being here. See you soon.